Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from JennyCarddesigns. Thanks so much for joining me today. My YouTube channel contains content that is intended to share paper crafting tutorials and inspiration with all of you. I hope that you enjoy. In today's video, I have a bunch of birthday sentiments available for purchase as a download in my online store. You'll find everything that we used in today's video linked in the description box down below. So you have 8 different greetings and they're fun and cute, and I think that you're really going to enjoy them, and so will the recipients. Let's take a look on how to cut these down. You're going to print them on regular 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock, and we're going to pop it in our trimmer and cut our first cut across the 11-inch side at 5.5. And then we'll take those pieces, and across the 8.5-inch side, we're going to cut down to 4.25. This is just quarter sheets of cardstock, basically. We're cutting these down to 4.25 by 5.5, and we'll do that to both sheets, and we'll end up with 8 greetings that will fit perfectly inside of our A2 size note cards. So I have some pre-cut and scored A2 size card bases. I have this JennyCarddesigns blue raspberry matching cardstock and envelopes. The blue raspberry is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to use those to create my cards today. And then I've also got JennyCarddesigns Master Layouts 4, and I'm going to use the scallop die to cut out my panels. You don't have to cut these out, but I find they're just prettier and it gives a more stepped up look. If you just want to adhere them inside of your cards, you can do that too, or trim them down just a little bit more so that you can see your card base. I think this is a great opportunity to use fun colored cardstock for your card bases and print the sentiments on white, and they just look absolutely beautiful. So this JennyCarddesigns blue raspberry cardstock is an exact match to the envelopes. So absolutely pretty. I love this color blue. I don't think I've ever found any cardstock that is even close to this color. It's my absolute favorite. I'm going to grab some adhesive, and I'm just going to tack those panels down on the inside of my card base. And I'm not putting too much adhesive. I mean, it's on the inside. It's not going to fall apart or anything. I'm just putting a little bit on the inside, tack those down, and I'll do that to all of my cards. I'm going to use this fun paper pad that I picked up from Michael's. It's another Hot Buy Recollections 12 by 12 paper pad called Happy Cake Day. Inside of it is so many fun and cute birthday themed pattern papers. And I mean, I could look at this stuff all day. They're just so cute and fun. I could make 1,000 birthday cards out of this paper pad. And I'm going to show you how to cut up a couple of those patterns to create a really fun card front. And you can use this layout for any type of pattern paper, any type of card. And it's so simple and easy. And I'm going to get 8 cards out of 2 sheets of 12 by 12 pattern paper. So I flipped through this entire paper pad. I stopped at every pattern so that I could really decide what I wanted to do. I couldn't settle because everything was just so cute. I ended up selecting 2 patterns. I took this fun sort of animals popping out of boxes and cakes. I really like that. And then I also took a striped pattern, and I'm going to combine those 2 pieces together. I think it's going to look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those out of my paper pad and then get to chopping. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take off that little top strip. This has got like a perforated edge, so I'm just going to bend it back and forth and pop that little strip off. And then I'm going to start cutting these pieces down to 4 inches. So I'm going to pop it in my trimmer and make sure that my pattern is the way I want it to be. I want it to be upright. And I'm going to cut at 4 inches, and I'll get 3 panels that measure 4 by 12. So if you're using a larger trimmer, then you make your first cut at 8, and then your next cut at 4, and then you'll have these 3 strips. And then the next thing I'm going to do is cut down these panels across a 12-inch side. I'm going to start cutting them at 4-inch increments. So again, if you're using a larger trimmer, you would start at 8 inches and then move to 4 inches. And then that will give you 3 panels that measure 4 by 4. And then I'll continue to do that for all of those patterns, and I'm going to get 9 squares that measure 4 by 4. I only need 8, so I'm going to have an extra one that I'll keep aside and maybe use for another project. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take that striped pattern and I'm going to cut down some strips that measure 1 1/4. I'm going to cut at 1 1/4 and flip it around, and across the 12-inch side, I'm going to cut those at 4 inches as well. So I'm going to need 8 pieces that measure 1 1/4 by 4 inches. Okay, and then this is sort of kind of how I want to lay out my card. I'm going to put the little animals on top and then the stripe on the bottom. And then I felt like I needed a little something as a transition between the two patterns. So I had some gold foil cardstock that I'm going to cut down to 4 inches. And then I'm going to cut little 1/4 inch strips out of that. So they'll be like a 1/4 inch by 4 inches. And I'm going to create 8 of those as well. So far we've got a 4 by 4 panel, a 1 1/4 by 4 panel, and then a 1/4 inch by 4 inch strip. Okay, so that's all of the elements that I'm going to need for my card front. The last thing I wanted to do was add a little bit of something to my envelopes. So I took that stripe, since I have quite a bit left, I want to cut a few strips down. So I'm going to cut 1/4 inch strips. Those are going to be 1/4 inch by 12 inches, and then I'm going to need 4 of those so that I can put little stripes on my envelopes across the bottom. And then once I get those cut out, I'm going to start putting things together. So here are all of the elements for my card. I'll set those aside, and let's start with these little strips first. So I'm going to apply adhesive from one end to the other. This is pretty easy. And then I'm going to take that strip and sort of run it across the bottom of my envelope. I'm leaving just a little sliver of blue on the bottom so that you can still see that. And then I'm going to trim off the excess here with my scissors. And that's perfect. I love the way that looks. And then I'm going to take that piece that I cut off and attach it to my next envelope. So I didn't have to measure anything here. I just ran it across the bottom of my envelope and adhered it down. And I think that just creates a really cute effect. It ties the envelope to the card, and I really like that. So the envelopes are all done. Now I'm going to start working on my card bases. I'm going to take the 4-inch panel and place that pattern in the top of my card, and then take the little stripe and place that on the bottom. So I'm just using a dot runner here. This is my favorite adhesive. I use this in almost all of my videos. So I'm just eyeballing this and lining it up. And then I'm going to apply adhesive to the back of my foil strip. And then I'm just going to lay that down over top of the transition of the 2 pattern papers. And I like the way that looks. Really cute. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to all of my cards. Halfway through, I decided to kind of change it up a bit. I decided to put the stripe on the top and the pattern on the bottom, just for a little bit of variation, so the cards weren't all the same. So I kind of liked that. And each of the sentiments inside the cards are different as well. So they're not all duplicates, but you can definitely make as many of the same as you like. I just wanted to change it up a bit. And I like the way that this pattern looks too. I like them both. They turned out really nice. And that's it. These are all done. You could leave this as is. You don't need a sentiment. This is very obvious that it's a birthday card, so you don't need to put anything on it. But I did feel like it needed a happy birthday on the front. So I grabbed this Avery Elle stamp and die set that I have, and if I can find it, I'll leave it linked in the description box down below. And I'm going to grab some scraps. And this stamp set has a little banner with all different types of sentiments that fit inside the banner. And then there's also a coordinating die to cut the banner and the sentiment out. So I'm going to use the banner. I'm going to stamp it here in my Misty. I've got my Misty stamping tool, and I'm going to put a piece of scrap cardstock in the corner and line up my stamp. And then I'm going to pull out my jennycarddesigns blue raspberry ink. And this is also, again, an exact match to the cardstock. So I'm really excited about that. I love having that coordination. So I'm going to ink up this banner, and then I'm going to close the door of my Misty and press into my cardstock. And I'll continue to do this until I have enough sentiments for all of my cards. That's the great thing about the Misty, is that when you're stamping multiples like this, that you'll continually stamp in the same place. So this is great when I want to add the sentiment in. So when I add my happy birthday in, I can just keep switching out the cardstock, stamp the happy birthday, and put in another piece, and so on. And then I'll have all of these great sentiments, which I will then use the coordinating die to cut out, and I'll have all these lovely banners for my cards. I'll apply some dot runner adhesive to the back of these banners. You could step this up. You could add foam tape or add other embellishments and things like that. You could even shade the banner in with colored pencils or Copic markers or something. But I like to go clean and simple here. I'm going to adhere these down. And this entire cute little happy birthday card set is complete. And all of the insides are filled in with a perfect greeting. All you have to do is add a to and a from, and these cards are done. Here's a close-up look at our finished card project that we made. You'll find these sentiments with many others linked in the description box down below. You just download and print, and you can print as many as you like. That's the great thing about digitals, is that you can purchase one time and then use them 100 times. So you really get your money's worth. And that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by to spend some time with me here today. I appreciate the support as always. If you enjoyed this content here today, make sure that you hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It really helps my channel grow, and so that I know that you're enjoying the content I'm posting and that you want more. Coming up on screen is a video that I think you may enjoy. Have yourself a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!